Have you ever thought that just 10 minutes could transform the next 10 years of your life? It might sound surprising, but that's exactly what I'm going to show you. Many people believe that significant change requires years of hard work, but the real secret lies in how you use small moments of time. Today, you'll discover how, in just 10 minutes, you can start shaping a completely new future. And the best part? This transformation begins right now with a simple choice. Are you ready to change your life? Have you ever considered how the way you manage your energy directly impacts the results you achieve in life? While time moves the same for everyone, it's your energy that determines how each second is spent. Some people let time slip away, while others use it as a powerful tool for transformation. Here's the secret. Those who learn to manage their energy accomplish more in less time. Think about it. What if, instead of constantly racing against the clock, you aligned your intentions so well that every action you took had a multiplied impact? That's the essence of unlocking your full potential. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Imagine yourself as a battery that can recharge at any moment, but only if you know how. While many people drain their energy without realizing it, those who understand how to manage it can achieve more with less effort. A simple practice like meditation or mindful breathing can work wonders for your productivity. When you make a habit of recharging your mental and emotional energy throughout the day, instead of wearing yourself out, every task feels easier and your impact grows. Why do some people seem tireless and always accomplish so much? It's because they've mastered the art of channeling their energy with intention. And that's the key: living consciously. It's not just about being physically present, but deliberately investing your energy in what truly matters. Every decision you make about how to spend your time and energy should align with your biggest goals. Instead of letting exhaustion dictate your actions, imagine what would happen if you could direct your energy toward what truly matters every day. What would it feel like to see the results of your effort grow exponentially? And more importantly, are you willing to let go of habits that drain your energy in order to unlock this hidden potential? The answer is within you, waiting to be discovered. Have you noticed how life often feels like a series of repetitive, almost automatic actions? Time slips away while we're caught up in the daily grind, waking up, eating, working, sleeping. Before we know it, much of our energy is spent just keeping up with these basic routines. That doesn't mean these tasks aren't important, but the real question is, are we truly in control? When we let these routines take over, we spend so much energy on the necessary that there's nothing left for what truly matters: our dreams, our personal growth. Have you ever wondered how much of your day truly belongs to you? The problem is, when we let ourselves get caught up in these cycles, we hand over control of our lives to our bodies, minds, and emotions. Each of these parts pulls us in different directions without us even realizing it. It's like we're on autopilot, reacting to everything without being fully aware that we can actually choose to respond differently. A simple example? Instead of just grabbing the first thing you find to eat, take a moment to consider the quality and impact of what you're consuming. This kind of mindset shift may seem small, but when applied to all areas of life, the results can be huge. Breaking free from these compulsive cycles is like escaping an invisible prison. When we start acting consciously, we stop being victims of our physical and mental urges and become masters of our own energy. Imagine how your life could change if you redirected the energy spent on compulsive behaviors toward personal growth. Small adjustments, like setting aside time for introspection instead of just giving in to exhaustion, can completely transform your path. Of course, this doesn't mean you have to ignore your needs. It's about learning to control them rather than letting them control you. So the real question is, are you ready to shift from living a compulsive life to a conscious one? Pain is a natural mechanism we all experience. It's like the body's alarm system, telling us when something is wrong, whether it's a physical injury or a threat to our well-being. In this sense, pain is essential for self-preservation, signaling us to stop, take care of ourselves, or avoid danger. But suffering is different. Suffering is something we create, often without even realizing it. It's born in the mind when we relive past pain or anticipate future problems. This process traps us in a spiral of anguish. How many times have you caught yourself thinking about something that went wrong years ago, only to feel that same pain all over again? The difference between pain and suffering comes down to how we react to events. Physical pain is inevitable. It's part of the human experience, but suffering is optional. The mind can turn something temporary into a long-lasting cycle of negative emotions. For example, imagine someone who's been disappointed. Instead of moving on, they hold on to that resentment for years, mentally reliving the experience. The pain is in the past, but the suffering is still present, shaping their decisions, attitudes, and even their quality of life. So, how long are you willing to let suffering control your life? Managing suffering is a skill you can develop. Once you recognize that the mind amplifies pain, you can start changing that relationship. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, but it does mean learning not to hold on to what's already past or what hasn't even happened yet. A simple practice is focusing on the present and being grateful for what you have now, instead of drowning in worries about the future or holding on to past grudges. Have you ever thought about how your life would change if you could break the cycle of suffering? That's the key to living lighter. And the first step is realizing that suffering is a choice. So are you ready to make that change? The way we perceive the world around us is the starting point of all our experiences. Our five senses, sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste, are the windows through which the outside world enters our awareness. But simply gathering information through our senses is just the beginning. The real transformation happens when we become fully aware of what we're sensing. Have you ever noticed how often you go through an experience only to later realize you weren't truly present in the moment? We often live on autopilot, distracted, and this limits our growth. Being present is the key to expanding our perception and, in turn, our ability to live fully. When you live consciously, everything changes. It's not just about feeling the world, but deeply understanding what's happening inside you as you go through each experience. Take, for example, a simple walk in the park. If you're mindful, it's not just a stroll. You feel the wind, hear the birds, notice the texture of the ground beneath your feet. This kind of awareness connects you to the present moment and, more importantly, gives you control over how you respond to what's happening. Now, apply that same approach to more challenging situations, like moments of anger or frustration. Instead of being carried away by the emotion, you can observe and choose your response. That's the power of conscious perception. It gives you control over your own experience. The truth is, all our emotions, whether positive or negative, are created inside of us. Have you noticed how two people can react completely differently to the same situation? That's because it's not the event itself that defines our experience, but how we perceive it. This perception is shaped by our attention. Living consciously means living with intention, rather than being pulled by the automatic reactions of your body or mind. And the best part is that this skill can be developed. Simple practices like meditation or mindfulness can help train your mind to stay present. So, ask yourself, how much time have you spent training your perception to live with more clarity, instead of just being a passive observer? It's surprising how easily the human mind can deceive itself. We create stories, make excuses, and turn small challenges into huge problems. And often, we don't even realize we're doing it. Self-deception comes from a subconscious desire to avoid the truth, to avoid facing what's really going on in our lives. How many times have you told yourself you didn't have enough time for something, when in reality, the time was there, but your mind was busy creating distractions? That's the power of self-deception. It traps us in an invisible prison where we become prisoners of the stories we tell ourselves. This habit of lying to ourselves is a form of self-preservation. Instead of confronting uncomfortable truths, our mind prefers to create narratives that temporarily protect us. But ironically, these lies end up hurting us in the long run. A common example is when someone keeps postponing an important life change, like starting a new exercise routine or committing to a personal project, by saying, "It's not the right time," or "I'm not ready yet." These small lies, which seem harmless at first, accumulate and create a barrier that blocks progress. The more we feed these deceptions, the harder they are to break. So the question is, how ready are you to be truly honest with yourself? The truth can be uncomfortable, but it's liberating. When we allow ourselves to face life without the filter of self-deception, everything becomes much simpler. What once seemed impossible suddenly reveals itself as a manageable challenge. The big question is, are you willing to let go of the excuses and stories you've been telling yourself? A key step in breaking free from self-deception is developing self-awareness, being mindful of your thoughts and behavior patterns. Small changes, like questioning your excuses or being more honest about your personal commitments, can make a huge difference. The real truth is, when you simplify your view of the world, you unlock potential that was once hidden behind illusions. So, how ready are you for this transformation? Now that you've learned how just 10 minutes can transform the next 10 years of your life, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let this opportunity slip by, or will you apply these ideas and start creating the life you want? The power is in your hands. If you truly want to see a significant change, start today. What's stopping you from taking that first step right now? Think about everything you could achieve in the years ahead if you start applying these techniques. The life you want is just 10 minutes away. Will you seize it? If this content resonated with you and you want to learn more about transforming your reality, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and check out our latest video. Is living fully the key to unlocking true happiness? Don't let this opportunity pass you by.